So here we are. Ooh, it looks like we're recording in 360. Welcome to Sunday Bedhead, or Tea Time with the Isaacs, as Layla wants to call it.
Or coffee talk.
Or coffee talk. I kind of like Sunday Bedhead because, I think that we're just going to get up and talk over breakfast or tea or whatever's going on this island. You'll see a little window of our kitchen, which is not terribly exciting, but hopefully it affirms you.
Generally messy, unfortunately.
It's generally messy. We have a lived-in house. All right, so we had this idea because this morning we were just hanging out. Grace is at her last high school cheer competition. Sad. And we were just hanging out afterwards, and we were talking about all kinds of things.
We were talking about great stuff, but now that there's a camera on,
we probably won't. Right, you're right. So we were thinking, like, one of the things we were talking about is, and if you don't know us, I guess, I'm Sunday Bedhead, and usually I have a crown on, but it's Sunday, so all I have is Bedhead. And I Wear the Crowns, at I Wear the Crowns on Twitter and Instagram, also known as Knives Chow. And by the way, Scott Pilgrim is on HBO right now, which is kind of awesome. I used to be an elementary technology specialist. Then I was a technology integrator at an independent school in New York City. Now I work on a team that brings you events like Mind Fair, Brickfest Live, and the Young Innovators Fair. So that's me. I like stuff. I like talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Cheo-Isaacs, husband of I Wear the Crowns. I can be found on Twitter as at Mr. like MR _ Isaacs, ISAACS. And I teach game design and development at a middle school in New Jersey. Pretty excited about the opportunities I've had in my career. I basically created this program at my school that's just been awesome in terms of being able to, allow kids to have a lot of choice in their learning and, create games and so much of it's stuff that I don't know yet either. So we're learning, day by day together, which I think is really exciting in education. Really leveraging informal learning opportunities and all that kind of stuff. I also produce Mind Fair, which is a massive Minecraft convention, and that's been a ton of fun and great experience to bring all sorts of Minecraft enthusiasts together around the country, in fact. And we have a show coming up in St. Paul in a couple of weeks, and then LA.
Less than 2 weeks. Yep. 2 weeks from this week.
And LA and Houston, and we're all over the place. It's been a great year already. We had our first show, and excited to see what continues to happen. And this is Layla.
Yeah, it was Layla. Layla decided to leave us. She was not happy once the camera went on. She thought it was a great idea, but she really wants it to be called Tea Time. I don't know if that's why she left with the Isaacs. And, so she's kind of funny. She'll come in now and then, I'm sure. But she wanted to turn it off, and she was I guess you could see that she's the one that reached the...
Oh, she tried to turn it off.
She tried to turn it off. I don't really know. So, so this is what we were doing this morning. We were just conversing because it's not very often that we're in the same space together. So we got to talk, and we thought, oh, wow, wouldn't this be a great idea for a podcast or something? And, we do have some great ideas that we kind of throw at each other, and then life takes over, so we don't really get to act on them.
We probably act on more than we think.
Right. So we thought also, hey, Layla has a Yeti mic. Let's bring down the Yeti mic and set up stuff. So this is probably going to go through several iterations. I was like, let's do 360. So I don't know if you're looking up my nose right now because I'm so close.
Can we hook the Yeti up to this by any chance?
The Yeti? Well, the Yeti is a mic.
No, I know, but I'm saying, can we hook it up to this camera? Is there any kind of USB to the camera?
Well, it's under. There's micro USB out, And then there's oh no, I'm sorry, micro USB to power for the battery, and then there's micro HDMI out. So they're
Might need to add. Chris Nessie would know.
I think Chris Nessie would know. He is at Mr. Nessie, right?
Or Jeff Bradbury.
Or Jeff Bradbury. He's at Jeff Bradbury. Oh
But
no,
he's at
Teacher
That's probably how you
Cast,
want to
right?
find him.
So maybe we would have special guests here. I mean, if we had thought of this last week, you'd have the lovely Alice Keeler.
Ah, that's right. But it
stirring
is kind
up
of funny.
the pot.
Like, I gotta believe that as we have guests just wander into our house on a Sunday morning,
Right,
during
it's almost like
our
Wayne's
kinda
World.
funny. Yeah,
Wayne's
yeah.
World.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess some other. I mean, you know what? It's funny. I want to give some things away, like in terms of if we continue video casting versus podcasting versus whatever other casting there could be, live streaming. Layla's like, you're going to say something bad about someone. We might, and we're sorry if we do. It's just stream of consciousness. But yeah, I was just thinking, wow, if we continue with the video casting, like this Cuisinart piece back there, people are going to see it for weeks.
Product placement.
They're going to see it's product placement. They're going to see, oh wow, look, you have the same snacks here for weeks. I just gave it away, but anyway, yeah. So one of the things we were talking about was like I think Layla brought it up. I used to teach at an elementary school, as I said before, in the same district as my husband Steve, who I never call him Steve, but she's like, oh, did you see the bulletin board? Have you seen the bulletin board outside your room? And we were talking about bulletin boards and how, I guess, kind of how people create spaces. So my story about the bulletin board was when I started at I guess let's just say it, at Cedar Hill years and years ago, getting my room ready. I'm all excited, and there's a blank bulletin board outside in the hallway, and I counted the 5th grade rooms. I was like, for sure, this is one of theirs. And maybe a day before school, meet your teacher day, I asked someone, hey, are you going to do anything with this bulletin board? And they're like, no, that's yours. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, and then the story was that one of, I guess I'll call you Llama. I don't call you Steve. This is weird. One of his colleagues, his, I'm just going to call him his, one of Mr. Isaacs, Llama. That's weird. I don't know what to do with that. Steve. I haven't called him Steve in 30 years. No, I didn't know you 30 years ago. Anyway, one of Steve's colleagues has a beautiful entranceway on her door, and like a beautiful bulletin board in her room. And, I taught there as her maternity leave, and I said, she showed me, oh, here are all the boxes for the bulletin boards. And I was like, if the bulletin board comes down, it's not going back up, ever. And then Steve was saying his room, the entranceway is
bland.
Just the door, but the inside, the room is pretty awesome. So
yeah, inside, I've had like a dream of the ideal learning space for my students for years, and I kind of see it as like a studio rather than a classroom, like a game design studio. So over the years, it started as a pretty regular computer lab, and then I was fortunate enough to get the PTO to approve a grant for 3 large flat panel TVs. So those are mounted on the walls. Then I've been doing a bunch of donor choose projects, so I have like all sorts of gaming consoles. We were talking before too about somebody in their man cave, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's my classroom. And then we, through continued support from the PTO, we got all sorts of flexible seating, basically Yogi Bo furniture, which has turned out great because I also have a couple of high-end VR devices, an Oculus Rift and an HTC Vive, and both of those are room-scale experiences, so you kind of need a space. So the Yogi Bo furniture is great because I can just move it out of the way in about a second and then recreate the, reestablish the room-scale space for the virtual reality stuff. And it's kind of cool, too, because we happen to, things that you don't, unanticipated outcomes. And when I ordered the Yogi Bo stuff, I ordered a large shag carpet for each area, and that happens to be a perfect space for the VR. So it kind of like mapped out, the spaces within the room where we would be able to easily handle the room scale stuff, and on and on. So my classroom is like, is very inviting once you enter the bland doorway.
Right. And then we were also kind of talking about kids, and Steve does a game club after school, and we were talking about the makeup of the kids that are in the game club, and one of the things that I guess one system you run class craft the young Devin Devin Young and Sean Steve runs class craft in his room, and then he just started doing it in the in game club, and we were talking about things that kids automatically do. So one of the things that I did was like, oh, that relates to what I did. So I used to teach keyboarding in 4th grade. I know there's right now everybody's poo-pooing it. I still think it's important. I think I would still teach it if I was in the classroom. So anyway, it would be weeks and weeks of building this routine. So much investment of saying, okay, you come in, you sit down, you hand in your homework, you log in, and you get started. And on the one hand, it's not really choice, which we're big advocates for, but on the scale of when kids know what the expectation is in your room and whatever. So one of my coworkers at the time, she remarked, "Holy cow, they just know what to do. They enter the room and they know what to do." Of course, this is weeks and weeks of training and investment of time of doing it, but it was just like when they finally get, oh, here we go, we're just coming in, we're going to get to work, and then this is where the break is, and this is when we go over stuff. It was fantastic. So and then Steve does something which is kind of funny. Funny because it is funny.
with game club. So I have bus duty after school. So game club starts after school, but the kids have to wait for me to get back from bus duty. So I've got 30 plus kids basically waiting in the hallway for me to arrive. And in years past, that's been absolute mayhem. And this year, this is where the class prep part comes in. I started something where I was talking about, if the whole group wasn't, kind of ready and at least, respectful in the hallway and, not causing a ruckus. Teachers are walking by and stuff. I need them to be sensible.
Sensible.
As they're waiting.
As they can be at
right.
the end of the day.
So, they're all excited to get in there. But anyway, so they all know, the bottom line is they know that they have to be kind of like lined up and ready for me when I get there and not be acting like, a bunch of crazies in the hallway. So they on their own started a system of sending out kids as sort of a checkpoints almost to report back to when I'm on my way. So it's become this really humorous thing where I fully know that it's happening, but kids are planted throughout the hall, and and 2 minutes before I get there, you hear the one kid saying, "He's coming!" And then they all line up beautifully and are ready for me. And all the teachers find this to be quite amusing because they see it happening every day on their way out of school. But then other kind of unintended outcomes have happened. Like there's one kid who is always waiting for me when I'm coming back in the building from in the front of the building from bus duty. And there's still quite a walk to my room. And I used to think it was because he was the planted person, which he probably was. But now we've gotten to a point where he just waits for me. He doesn't say much. He's kind of a quiet kid. We walk back together, talk a little bit, but he's like become my little buddy that greets me, and we walk back to game club. It's pretty long walks. It's kind of funny. And like I said, he doesn't really say much. So, and I couldn't really get for a long time whether he was. I would try to go other ways sometimes to allow him to still be this point person for the rest of the kids, but. As it's evolved, we just kind of walk back together. So he's certainly shirking his responsibility to the rest of the group, but we're forming a nice relationship in the meantime.
Yeah.
So it's been it's just funny. It's fun.
That is fun. That's really cute. Yeah, and just that it's just an opportunity to have a connection with the kid, and do you have him in class?
No.
Other times
he's
just
a
in the
sixth grader. The game club is throughout the whole school. So these are kids I don't many of which I don't see during school, and the club has been, it's been oversold. Like, unfortunately, I had to start a waiting list and stuff. So, and it's just an interesting, it's been a great group. The goal ultimately too is to get into some competitive gaming. But no, many of the kids are sixth graders that come in and are so excited that they could participate in this, and yeah, many that I don't know until, so they're just my after school bunch. And it's an interesting group because
well, it's all grades.
It's all grades. They're certainly my people. They're they're an eclectic bunch for sure, and I love that. And I love that we're creating an affinity space for them. I mean, the kids in there are just all, as you can imagine, all like-minded, all get along, all, many of which are not, your, typical story. They're not necessarily your after-school sports kids, and now they have a place to do what they want to do with other like-minded friends, and it's so social, and it's like, it just makes me think of when gaming and stuff gets a bad rap, the importance of seeing. I wish more people would see what goes on in there, because it's a community like none other, and that's been, just incredible, and I hope more and more schools, and more and more schools are starting to have game clubs and competitive gaming, and I think it really provides a wonderful opportunity and outlet for so many of these kids, and I'm that kid, I'm really that kid, so it's great.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then the esports, I mean, there are schools that are offering scholarship, and I mean, I do, and I think I just went off on the wrong tangent, but it was like I had many points in there where I was like, oh, I want to interject something. I want to interject, but I'm so good at interrupting that I wanted to let you finish. But I think that, like you said, with the the bad gaming gets a bad rap, and it's because most of the images that we see are big kids playing shooters, and it's always the shooters or Grand Theft Auto or whatever, and you don't see the community. And even then, even the kids that are playing, even big kids that are playing, there are huge communities. These are people who are friends that are playing with each other and meeting at certain times in order to play with each other, and we don't see that. And then we have instances where people in leadership positions say ridiculous things about how, violent games again and again. It's like, that's not the point. There's research about gaming and what the benefits are versus what the, what the whatever.
And that's one of those areas too where I have to give credit to my administration, because in so many situations in my career, some of the people get it and some don't necessarily, but my principal, I want to give a lot of credit to, because when it came to years ago trying to start this game design program, I thought I was going to have, quite an uphill battle to create an elective course called Game Design and Development. And immediately my principal's, sentiment was, well, if this is something the kids are going to like and this is good for kids, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, it was really amazing, because it was like, it just showed a level of trust that, to allow me to, really, and it helped me create, without sounding too sappy, I've been able to create my dream job. And then with Game Club, it's a similar idea. It's like, I wanted to bring in, an opportunity for gaming, and it was the same idea. It's like, this is something kids would like to sign up for after school, and build community, and let's do it. And, again, I appreciate that, because there's so many thoughts of what, is appropriate for an after-school club or this or that. And, and here this is, completely providing an opportunity. My feeling also is, why don't we allow, I think it was Beth Huff, who I always refer back to, with the idea where she had a graphic going around a while ago, something about, let's create an environment, I'm paraphrasing, let's create an environment where kids are breaking down the doors to get in the school, not out of it.
Yeah.
So maybe we can end even on that note, so we can get ready to go see Grace's final cheer competition.
All right. So, yeah, thanks for watching. If you happen to watch, this is, like I said before, probably going to go through several iterations. And, yeah, you'll see.
Pretty sure it'll be very unscripted. So.
Oh, yeah, totally unscripted. And if you ever want to stop by, if we can figure out a regular time to do this.
This is around it. So there'll always be coffee in the coffee pot.
Right. Yeah, and, yeah, we'd love some pop-in guests.
Yeah, who knows? We could become like the next carpool karaoke or like Jerry Seinfeld driving in cars with comedians. This will be having
coffee in cars with comedians.
Whatever it is. Yeah, this will be coffee with
and
bedhead.
You have to come with bedhead.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny?
No
that
showers.
Would be awesome. Yeah.
No shower first.
Yeah, don't even.
You could even keep your pajamas on if you want.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
And for all we care, come the night before, we'll play games, stay over, and then wake up with us for
that's
coffee.
an idea too. Right. We have lots of space.
Yep.
Lots of space. All right. Cool.
Peace out.
Bye.